Howdy legends, Zephyr here and welcome back to another Apex Legends Pro Guides video. Today, we're taking an updated look at our Apex Legends Legend tier list to reflect the current state of play after the launch of Season 13 Saviors Patch 1.3. But first, our question of the day. What are you most enjoying about Season 13 so far? Let us know in the comment section below. D tier. Starting in the D tier, these legends are usable, but you'd struggle to recommend them to anyone other than the most die-hard mains. Lifeline. Lifeline is still firmly sat in the D tier, even despite her changes. Sure, the care package cooldown is decreased and you now get a battery, but Loba still outclasses her there. And great, the reviving player can cancel the revive to protect themselves with their knockdown shield. But the camera angle makes it impossible to see people walking up, and the Newcastle or Gibby revive is still a lot safer. The DOC health drone's bigger radius could be even considered a nerf. If you take a 1v1 wall plugged into the DOC, the drone will heal anyone in range, your enemies included. I still think a rework is needed. Mirage. You know what? In a pure 1v1, a good Mirage ult is very hard to deal with. Plus, he actually has footstep audio on his decoys, which is the only thing in the entire game that makes noise when it should. But frankly, his abilities are weak and we can all accept that there are far more useful choices. But if you're a Mirage main who knows how to use him, then props. To be successful with Mirage, you have to have certainly some of the best gun skill and game sense around. Keep bamboozling, you have my respect. Need an expert opinion on what legends Apex Predators use? ProGuides has expert Apex Predator coaches on deck to advance your gameplay. They can help spot flaws, give you detailed knowledge, and direct you on how to best spend your time to take your Apex ability to the next level. ProGuides is your one-stop shop for all things Apex Legends, as well as high-quality coaches, their in-game tips, tricks, and guides suitable for any level of player. So, whatever your gameplay needs, we've got you covered. Why not sit down with an Apex Predator and get their opinion on what your perfect legend is? Check out the link in the description and let's go! C tier. These legends are the definition of decent. Usable, sometimes situational, but pretty solid picks and they have their moments for sure. Mad Maggie. Mad Maggie arrived with what seemed like a super strong kit, but she hasn't made the huge impact that people expected. Her riot drill is really annoying, but it is situational, especially on maps like Stormpoint where there's a lot more open space. Her ultimate ability is decent and the speed boost can be helpful, but it can also be disorienting to fight with. There's also currently an issue with her ultimate that removes the bonk/stun effect, which weakens this further. If you catch a team in the right spot, she can be fantastic, but overall, there are better options. Bangalore. Alright, now that the Bangalore smoke fix has finally arrived, she slips back into the C tier. Perhaps a controversial decision by us. She can be effective in open spaces, and her ultimate is dangerous, but across all 4 maps, she isn't strong enough to sneak into the B tier. With so many legends having at least some form of wall hack abilities, and with this season being one of the SMGs, and therefore lots of digital threat scopes, her smoke is weakened. If there was a change to her smokes that means that scans didn't penetrate, she would be an insanely strong legend. Another weakness is that the digiscopes can be crafted on 2 separate replicator days, and they also drop from spiders and armories. So, on her strongest map, there are more digis than any other. Fuse. Fuse is annoying. His knuckle cluster is powerful and is both damaging to your in-game legend and your own mood. His mother load is strong when used right and has scans for anyone inside it, but like most abilities in C tier, it is situational and it's only powerful when used correctly. His best ability is his extra long grenade throw and his ability to stack 2 grenades in his backpack. However, this ability does rely on grenades and therefore is an ability that relies on being able to find a suitable number of them and have the storage space for them as well. Fuse always paired well with a wingman so you could conserve ammo, and now that's in the crafter. Wattson. Wattson has the best ability in Apex Legends. She can place up to 20 Nessies anywhere on the map and therefore is arguably the best legend of all time. We're only kidding. She is Definitely situational, and when you need to hold down a position and also save on your shield heals, she's a very good legend, but outside of that, she's pretty weak when compared to, say, Caustic. Her shield generator is strong at blocking grenades, but with bats so easily crafted in the replicator, there are other ways to get heals. She absolutely has her uses, but unless you're in a strong building in the center of zone, her power wanes very quickly. Pathfinder. Pathfinder has now passed another patch where Respawn fail on their promise to rework his non-existent passive. Pathfinder's a good legend if you're an absolutely top-tier Pathfinder, but otherwise he's pretty well outclassed in every department by another legend. There are simply just better options, and unless you're really one of the best around, it doesn't matter. He is, of course, fun to play and still popular, but for ranked especially, legends like Valkyrie really do outshine our boy Path. Revenant. Revenant is yet another annoying legend. Arguably, he is B tier on King's Canyon because of the charge towers, but after his several nerfs to his totem, he is firmly in C tier. There will be times where a well-organized totem push will absolutely deliver results, and his silence can be powerful. This man's abilities are like calling for other teams to third party. The Rev Totem sends a clear signal that you are inting, and ironically, the silence is probably one of the most single loudest sounds known to mankind. Plus, playing Revenant will probably lose you all your friends. Do better, Rev mains. Crypto. Crypto has some really handy abilities in scanning the beacon and also grabbing banners from the drone. His EMP is strong if you can push from it, but overall he can be hard to use, and the high pace of Apex can sometimes leave Crypto a bit isolated. With a coordinated team, however, Crypto can push to B tier, but overall he is useful in certain situations only. He does, however, have a super cool heirloom. B tier. These legends are strong and useful in a wide range of scenarios, but not overpowered or among the best of the best legends. Seer. Look, hear me out. Seer is still good. Sure, his abilities are nowhere near where they were on release, but Seer can really be powerful. His heartbeat sensor is great for tracking people down and detecting third parties, and his ultimate is powerful as well. However, the fact that it replicates Epcot at Disney and draws in almost every single Apex player in history to come and third you is a slight drawback. And if you can, his micro drones is a very powerful tool, but it's a skill shot and not as reliable as a Bloodhound scan. Wraith. How the mighty have fallen. Wraith used to be the legend in Apex, but sadly she's been surpassed in some ways and nerfed in others. She is still a solid, reliable pick, and her portal is useful, and her phase is still a decent escape tool. However, as the maps get bigger, her phase and portal distances get weaker. She isn't what she used to be, but she's still a solid legend. Rampart. Rampart is legit a good legend this season. She got solid changes at the start of the season, and these have held up and not been reverted in our current patch. Her walls go up so fast that she's able to keep up with the fast pace of Apex games much better. Just remember though how slow her strafe speed is when using Sheila. Octane. There was a time where Octane was one of the very best legends in the game, but a lot of this was due to his jump pad being the ultimate stealth tool. We all faced the silent Revtane padding at one time or another. Now, he's relegated to the B tier. His pad can close distances or put distances quickly, plus his stim can also help you escape or close down on an enemy team, but it takes a lot of self-control to not stim yourself to death. Loba. Loba has steadily been used more and more, even reaching the top levels of ALGS in Ranked. Where she excels is in sweaty endgames. With Loba, you can really prioritize fast rotations and looting as you go. Plus, with the reduction in syringes and shield cells on the ground this season, the ability to slurp up heals through her ultimate has become even more powerful. Her bracelet is pretty much on par with Horizon and Wraith's escape abilities these days, as well as when it works. Currently, the Loba bug does make her hard to play, but we have faith this will be fixed eventually. A tier. These legends are strong and no matter the map or scenario can provide a strong utility for your team. Horizon. Everyone's favorite space mom is an incredibly versatile choice. She's currently the highest picked legend in Pred lobbies because she's both fun to play and has a strong kick. Her ultimate is great, especially when paired with grenades, and her gravity lift is extremely flexible and it can be used to push teams or as an escape route. Underrated is her zero gravity landings. You almost always get a weapon off drop if you're Horizon, and she can really put on the schmovement when needed. Caustic. This man stinks, but not as a legend in game. While many people detest this legend, you cannot argue that he is not very powerful. Used religiously at the higher levels of gameplay, he can lock down a building with ease. While he is chunky and can be beamed in the open, his barrels can be used to claim space, and Caustic is regularly used outside of just holding a building down. Plus, the only real counter to Caustic is having a Caustic. This makes him a strong legend, even in a lobby full of Caustics. Bloodhound. Bloodhound is one of the strongest legends in the game and deservedly sits in the A tier. They are an incredibly easy legend to pick up, with scans providing good information that's very useful. It really does make the difference having a Bloodhound on your team in Ranked 2. With so many teams ratting, a pre-scan is invaluable. And their ultimate is strong, but Bloodhound's weakness is that if caught in the open, they're very vulnerable. Where they beat legends like Seer is just how easily they can provide clear information to their team. Newcastle. Newcastle has started strong and hasn't needed any nerfs to his kit, like legends such as Seer did after release. This means that he still stays in the A tier and will continue to be good as a defensive pick. His mobile shield is pretty intuitive to use, and on Stormpoint especially where buildings are hard to hold, the castle wall makes playing roofs pretty viable. Ashe. Ashe has been a strong legend since release. Her Phase Breach portal is powerful and provides a useful escape tool or a great way to push. However, it can be hard to execute. However, the instant release aspect makes it better than Wraith's portal in that regard. You can very quickly close a distance. Now the tether is decent, but it travels slowly. And her passive ability is probably the least talked about part of her kit, but it can be very strong in the right situations. S tier. The two S tier legends are by far the strongest in the game and have excellent abilities. Gibraltar. Gibraltar is a very underrated legend by casual players, but the top pros have him as a 100% pick rate in most tournaments. His Dome of Protection is one of the most versatile abilities in the game. Used for reviving, pushing, resetting, or rotating in it is an incredibly strong tool. His defensive bombardment does major damage, and the Gibraltar gun shield lets you trade damage very effectively. Of course, he can be pretty easily beamed, but if you play cover and position yourself smartly, Gibby is an insanely powerful tank legend. Valkyrie. Valk is probably the best legend in the game. She has it all: a jetpack for movement, used to take high places and to cross open spaces, escape, and maneuver. The spinning nerf hasn't really affected her abilities at all. Her rockets deal strong damage and stun enemies, and then her ultimate, the best ability in the game. You can be deployed as a mini UAV and escape from teams, or rotate fast and take a strong spot. Valkyrie's jetpacks are also very strong in bubble fights. Well, that's our Apex Legends Season 13 13.1 updated tier list concluded. Until next time, gamers.